The oil exploration in the country, and we are continuing with our excitement about the discovery of oil in Turkana. We have seen reports from the media which have not continued with the excitement that this country should be having, and we hope that today's announcement will give the country even further excitement. Part of the reports that you have seen coming from the media, I've been questioning this discovery within the broader context of what they are calling the Africa's oil curse. We want to assure Kenyans that the discovery of oil in Kenya is going to be for the benefit of this country, and it is going to be at the center of our fight against poverty. It's going to be a blessing for this country. It's going to be at the center of our modernization efforts, and it's going to be at the center of the implementation of our Vision 2030. So those who are saying that they are going to be a Niger Delta in Turkana are mistaken. We believe that what is called Africa's oil curse indeed is not an oil curse. Oil is a commodity just like coffee and tea. It is a neutral commodity. Indeed, what has been called Africa's oil curse is really a political and a management curse. And we do everything possible in this country to make sure that the oil resources are going to be used positively. They are going to be used for the benefit of the people of Turkana, to be used for the benefit of the people of this country, and also they are going to be used also to benefit the multinational corporation Talo Oil, which has used its money, which has raised capital, and brought expertise to enable us to get oil from the ground in Turkana. So this is going to be a win-win situation for all the three key players, the international company, the government, and the people of Turkana. With those few remarks, allow me now to invite the Right Honourable Prime Minister to make.
This is the government's statement. Following the initial announcement on the 26th of March 2012 that Kimemia 1 had encountered in excess of 20 meters of net oil pay, the well has now been deepened from 1,041 meters to 1,515 meters. Further, good quality oil-bearing reservoir zones have been encountered. A sidetrack was required to deepen the well, and following completion of wire logging and sampling, a total pay count of at least 100 meters has been determined over a gross oil-bearing interval of 650 meters. Movable oil with an API greater than 30 degrees has been recovered to surface. This oil has similar properties to the light waxy crude encountered in the upper reservoir zone. Commerciality. While as we are very encouraged by these results, it is far too early to speculate on the potential viability of Ngamia 1 or the basin as a whole. The well has been drilled to a depth of 1,550 meters, and it will continue to a total depth of approximately 2,700 meters to explore for further deeper potential in this prospect. These results clearly indicate the presence of crude oil, and as further information becomes available during the ongoing drilling activities, it will enable a more comprehensive assessment of the well's potential and the implications for further exploration drilling in the region. Exploration campaigns can last several years, and the time frame from exploration to realizing production revenue in an onshore environment is typically in excess of 6 years. We therefore remain cautiously optimistic. Further exploration plans. Over the coming years, Tullow Oil and Africa Oil will work with us to continue to explore the full potential of this area in a socially and environmentally responsible manner. Many similar prospects have been identified within the tertiary rift basin, and these results are encouraging for future drilling activities as they help to de-risk the other prospects. Over the coming years, further exploration and appraisals wells will be required to assess the basin's potential and determine the commerciality of Gambia 1 and other prospects. I congratulate the operator, Tullow Oil, and his partner, Africa Oil, for the hard work. As part of the drilling campaign in this region, Tullow is currently undertaking a number of other exploration activities within the basin, including the 2D seismic acquisition. The Weatherford rig currently drilling Gambia 1 will move to Trigger 1, the next exploration well. Trigger 1 is 31 kilometers to the northwest of Ngamia 1 in Block 13T. Trigger 1 is expected to spud in the third quarter of 2012. Arrangements are also underway to mobilize a second rig to Pai in Block 10A in Marsabit County. Pai is also scheduled to spud in the fourth quarter of 2012. This is a very exciting time for Kenya as we look to open up a potential new oil frontier in East Africa. With this new development comes the need to establish a conducive environment for the oil and gas sector to develop in a responsible and sustainable manner. Legal and regulatory framework. The government will embark on a journey of ensuring that we lay down the right foundation to support the upstream oil and gas sector. This will involve reviewing the existing legal and regulatory framework to conform to the best international practice and to align it with the new constitutional dispensation. On the regulatory front, the government has an important role to play in establishing policy frameworks which will support the development and growth of the sector in a transparent and accountable manner. The Petroleum, that is Exploration and Production Act of 1986, Cap 308 of the laws of Kenya, will be reviewed to reflect the needs of a newly developed system of governance and other realities of an oil-producing nation. Revenue management and transparency. the commercial terms and conditions between the government and the prospecting companies are spelled out in the production sharing contracts. We believe that these terms strike a fair and equitable balance between the government and the investors, considering the risk associated with this type of exploration campaign. The discovery and indeed commercialization of oil for Kenya would mean nothing less than a stronger economy. For us to maximize the benefits of a potential commercial discovery, revenues from oil production would have to be utilized in a manner that should boost the ongoing economic and social transformation agenda as articulated in Kenya's Vision 2030. So, gentlemen, let me just add to what the minister has said, that the government is determined not to fall in the pitfalls which have befallen other countries that have discovered oil. It is generally known that oil can either be a blessing or a curse. No countries I don't want to mention where oil has just been a curse, causing most suffering to the people who are supposed to be beneficiaries. But I also know of other African countries where oil is a blessing, where the revenue from the oil production has been used to the benefit of the people of those countries. Those are the countries that Kenya will look towards in terms of how to exploit and utilize the oil revenue in our country. We are going to set up a proper regulatory framework and the legal framework that will help us to utilize this revenue for the benefit of our country and our people. We have been informed by Talo that what they have found in Kenya today is better than what they have found elsewhere on the continent, that it is better than Ghana and much better than Uganda in terms of the depth of what they have found in terms of quantities. But we still wait, we need to wait for the further work that still remains to be done before we can come out with a more conclusive statement. Thank you. Questions? Actually, the pipeline was actually being constructed purely to transport Sudanese oil. But we also knew that we were also prospecting in the area, and that if we should find oil, and if it is compatible in terms of composition with the one from the Sudan, then we will use it. There's even also a possibility of eventually even hooking in the Ugandan line into this one here to take it down to Lamu. Those are possibilities, generally.
Production Act was passed way back in 1986. And since then, many things have happened in our exploration front. So the law is outdated. It does not even recognize communities. It only recognizes two parties, the international company and the government. But as you know, the new constitution with its devolution has a very, very strong element of support for local communities. So we are reviewing that law to write the local communities into the act. We are also looking at other countries, and as PM again said, we are looking at international best practice. We want to have the best legal and institutional arrangements for oil exploration and production in this country. We want our law to provide for a very transparent and a very fair and efficient management of oil resources in this country.
Millions, and they spent all that money and they did not strike anything, and they left. So you need to therefore understand where sometimes some of these agreements are reached, because it is like you can strike like now, or you can go and do all what you're doing and end up without finding anything, and all that cost is on you. Generally, sometimes you are very simplistic when we dismiss contracts, when we talk very simply about some of these issues, because we don't appreciate what is involved in going down to those depths. Like if you're talking about now 1,500 meters, that is 1.5 kilometers, and you are drilling going down underground, and you don't know whether you'll find what you're looking for or not. And you may drill up to there and you don't find, and maybe 1 kilometer away there is something there. So there's a lot of risk taking in doing what we're doing. Now the good news why we're here, in a very simple layman's language, is that when the first report was given to the country on the 26th of March, they had gone down to 20 meters of oil-bearing columns. Now we have gone to 100 meters. The Ugandan one is only 14 meters. So you can see the good news that we are actually trying to convey to the country, that the prospects are very good. We only hope that the next results are going to be as good as the ones that have been given here. Regarding the NHIF, I don't like to mix issues. We are going to issue a statement shortly today on way forward on NHIF, and you're going to be told very shortly. We don't want to mix these two issues, the two very important national issues that we want to deal with. Okay?
Let's just have only one question, then we close the conference. Let's start from the gentleman who addressed the
Of NHIF, as well as the Chief Executive Officer of NHIF, for a period of 3 months pending investigations. And in their place, I have appointed Mr. A. Aden, who is a Deputy Secretary in the Ministry of Medical Services, as the manager on interim basis. And I've also put in place a caretaker committee, which consists of several permanent secretaries and representatives from the private sector, that is GOTO, Federation of Kenya Employers, and NAT. Then I've also appointed the Efficiency Monitoring Unit in the Office of the Prime Minister to carry out investigations into the conduct of affairs of NHIF. And further, we are going to appoint an independent firm of auditors to carry out forensic audit into the affairs of NHIF. The terms of reference for that caretaker committee are going to be made available to the media in the course of the day. Any question?